Welcome, Hornets, to this February 26th episode of SHS Today. First, Paige Riley gives us a scoop on Eating Disorder Week. Second, Ayana Loring brings us an equity snapshot with Dr. Kerr. And finally, Noah Greenleaf brings us a minute of science. All this and more on SHS Today.
Howdy, Hornets, and welcome to this new edition of SHS Today. I'm Jason Mergler.
And I'm Peter Brewer.
We have quite the impactful show for you today, so let's dive right in.
Tune Your Instruments State Festival for all bands will take place tomorrow and the 28th. The Wind Ensemble will perform tomorrow at Livonia Stevenson High School. Then, the 9th grade and symphonic bands will perform the 28th at Lincoln High School in Ypsilanti. Good luck to all who are participating.
On a more serious note, our first story brings light to the fact that this week is National Eating Disorder Awareness Week. We at SHS Today understand that this topic may be uncomfortable or difficult to discuss for some people, but we believe it is important to help further understand the importance of this subject.
Cody Stedman goes in depth on Eating Disorder Awareness Week and how they affect people's day-to-day life.
Mental illnesses among teenagers are not as common as people may think. One of them affects up to 5% of the population, most of which are affected at a young age, whether asymptomatically or not. This ailment is most commonly known as an eating disorder. Thankfully, we got in touch with a local Ann Arbor expert on how to further explain this illness.
So eating disorders are serious illnesses involving really big or severe disturbances to eating behaviors, weight, or body image. The biggest stigma I hear about is you have to be a super low weight or a super high weight to have an eating disorder. Most eating disorders you would not be able to tell.
According to the National Eating Disorders Association, 30 million Americans will have an eating disorder at some point in their lifetime. There are still some misunderstandings about eating disorders.
For almost anyone your age, I'm going to tell them to talk to their parents and talk to their pediatrician and get certain labs done and then checked out to make sure there's not some really concerning medical issues going on.
Thankfully, you don't have to struggle alone. Therapeutic options are always available, but medical options are also at your disposal.
I think the most important suggestion I could give you is to not be afraid to ask them if they're okay, and if there's anything they want to talk about, and let them know that they're here for them.
Some additional resources include the National Alliance for Eating Disorders hotline or their website at www.allianceforeatingdisorders.com. If you are under the age of 18, ask your parents to visit anad.org under the Get Help section and find information about virtual support groups. Whether you or your loved ones are dealing with these disorders, reaching out for guidance is always great.
But what's really helpful is just for a friend to be like, hey, if you want to talk about anything, this is how I could help you.
Some other ways to help your loved ones would be to educate yourself and others on what they are going through and how to be open to listening to them. We always want to keep our body and mind healthy, especially with this uncommon ailment. Reporting from Saline High School, I'm Cody Stedman, SHS Today.
Thank you, Cody. We appreciate you exploring and informing us on this sensitive topic of eating disorders and disorderly eating. If you want to reach out to the resources given, you can call the hotline at 866-662-1235 or go to allianceforeatingdisorders.com to reach out to different support groups.
Here at Saline, we have been preparing for the Polar Plunge. As many of you know, the Polar Plunge was scheduled for the 19th of this month, but was postponed due to last week's frigid temperatures.
Which feels very ironic, but due to the temperatures, it would have been unsafe to participate. So now the Polar Plunge is happening tomorrow, the 27th, and will take place during third hour. If you're signed up to jump, report to the auditorium side doors after second hour. The plunging will start at approximately 10:45. You may even see some SHS Today members jump.
Even though the water will be cold, the cause that many people are jumping for will warm hearts. We thank all that are planning to participate and all who have donated money.
There's an array of ways to acknowledge each other, even by using their preferred pronouns of the people around you.
Dr. Kerr takes us through the importance of using each other's pronouns correctly in this new installment of Equity Snapshot.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kerr. My pronouns are he, his, and this is Equity Snapshot. Today's snapshot is all about pronouns, what they are and why they matter. It's a lot to cover in 1 minute, so let's get into it. In this current cultural moment, you're probably most familiar with pronouns and the way that we use them to refer to ourselves and to each other's gender identities. If you are what we call cisgender, meaning your gender matches the sex that was assigned to you at birth, you likely use the pronoun she if you identify as female and he if you identify as male. But occasionally, a person's gender, which develops socially, does not match their biological sex. In those instances, those people may prefer to use a pronoun that matches their gender identity rather than their sex. The reasons that our sex and our gender help determine the way we navigate the world is way more complicated than I can get into in a single snapshot. So just remember this. Whether a person identifies as male, female, trans, or non-binary, they have a set of pronouns that they like to use and be referred to as by others. It's important to be respectful of others' identities by using the pronouns they prefer. After all, none of us wants to be identified as something that we don't see ourselves as, especially if that identity is really important to us. This is why many people you know may tell you their pronouns when they introduce themselves, or why your teachers may ask you to share your pronouns if you're comfortable, or if you're a teacher, why your students might be adamant about the pronouns you use with them. It's also why you might want to consider sharing your own pronouns with others. It can be helpful for others to avoid making assumptions. If you ever want to talk more about pronouns or why they're important, stop by my office on the 3rd floor. I'll look forward to seeing you. That's all for now. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kerr. We appreciate the information on the importance of pronouns and how to correctly use them.
Pronouns are used in everyday life, and it is always good to know what pronouns to use for people. It shows you respect them.
Our second trimester is almost over already, meaning that it is exam time again.
That's right. Second hour exams will take place on Wednesday the 5th. On Thursday, first and third hour exams will run. And to finish off the trimester, fourth and fifth hour exams will run on Friday.
And remember, Thursday and Friday will be half days. We will release at 11:10. Best of luck, Hornets.
Whoa, Peter, your hair is sticking up like crazy.
I know. Why do you think that is?
Maybe it has something to do with static electricity. Noah Greenleaf takes us through a demonstration on how static electricity actually works.
What's poppin', Hornets? I'm Noah Greenleaf.
And I'm Foster Wasusik.
And we're here to give you a demo on static electricity.
All right, so what we got right here is a Van de Graaff generator. It's a staple in any physics class, and it's a great demo of static electricity. The most familiar thing probably we are with static electricity is when you rub your socks against carpet and hit a light switch, you get shocked. Because static electricity, as the name implies, is made of electrons, and electrons repel each other. So basically what we've created is this machine basically rubs a rubber belt, and it creates electrons on the sphere, and there's nowhere for the electrons to go on the sphere except for Noah's body, and the electrons are trying to repel, 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 and they all collect at the extremes of the body, namely the hair.
Yeah, it's so weird.
And the electrons are going to stay there until they get a route to escape, which can just easily be done by jumping off the desk, or for something that's going to give me a shock, we can touch like this, right, and it's gonna shock me. The hair has returned to normal.
Yeah.
Because the electrons have escaped through me.
Wow, that was really cool. Thank you for showing me this demo. I'm Noah Greenleaf.
And I'm Foster Wasusik.
Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Noah and Mr. Wasusik, for giving us a shockingly great demonstration. It is nice to know the reason for simple things that happen in our day-to-day life have scientific explanations that are everywhere. Just like
The fact that that's all the time we have this week. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm Jason Mergler.
And I'm Peter Brewer. Be sure to follow @Celine Video on Instagram and YouTube for show updates and behind-the-scenes content.
Tune in next week for stories on the Saline District Library and celebrating the impacts that the Edge is having on our school.
Have a great week, Hornets.
I don't like it. Ooh, how about this?